All right, everyone. Welcome to the stream, guys. You're watching Rome Knows Tech, and I'm your host, Ron Wilkerson, guys. I'm coming here in the city of Houston, down here in the ever so hot and humid state of Texas. I want to welcome Terry and Hope to the stream. Welcome. Okay, well, it'll come back here in a second. All right, anyway, yeah, guys, it is, I don't know what day it is. It is Wednesday. It is Wednesday. And we got a lot to get to in our carousel tonight. But of course, you know, I'm curious what you guys have been up to. Anything special has been going on in your worlds today, last night, yesterday, whatever it is. What did you guys have for dinner? I see Hope is saying hi to Terry over on YouTube. Terry, Hope is saying hello to you. Let me go ahead and see if I can highlight that for you. Where we go? There we go. Is that Hope? No. That's me. That's me. That's me. That was Terry right there saying hello. All right. So Terry saying hi to Rome. What's popping? What's cracking? How is Buddy doing? Let us know. Keep my eyes on Buddy in the yard. So are you in the yard right now watching Buddy, or are you just kind of, you know, peeking out the window, or what you got going on? Hope Terry says hi. All right. So y'all let me know. What else have you guys been up to, man? You know, because I have been rearranging the studio again, trying to get everything oriented, hopefully to go live on the other platform as well. For Govee, which is here on Amazon, and of course over on YouTube as well. We'll be going live on both of those platforms. So if you guys have any questions whatsoever about anything that you guys see in the carousel, feel free to ask questions. That's what I'm here for. I am here to answer your questions. Now, tonight we are going to be doing a little bit of, Hope says the lighting looks great. Thank you very much, Hope. So we got a couple of the Govee lights running in the background. Actually, we only have one of the Govee lights on back there. Well, technically two, because we have the curtain light on, and then we also have the Govee floor lamp on. But I have the floor lamp on one of the desks back here. I have it listed in the carousel if you guys want to check it out. All right. So let's get over to this camera angle here. All right, so what we're going to be looking at tonight, first thing in the carousel, guys, is this laser right here. Now, this laser is from our friends over at X-Tool. This is the M1 Ultra. This is a 4-in-1 crafting machine. It has a number of different features. Let me see. Hopefully, our phone is connected, and I can switch over here and show you guys real quick. All right, let's take a look here. All right, guys, you guys can see what everything looks like. Oh, I forgot to switch myself back. Hold on, y'all. Boop, there we go. All right. So you guys can see what we're working with here. Here is the laser sitting here on the desk. It also has a printing module. It has a pen module. And inside here, you guys can see we have our 10-watt laser, and we have our cutting module. And you probably can see inside there. Hold on, let me change the this gimbal. You can see inside there some of the wood that we have left over when we made that elephant a couple of nights ago. So we'll be using that wood for some project tonight. I'm not sure what we're going to make yet, but we'll make something. You know how we do. Y'all know. So anyway, if there's any request out there for something that I could make with the remaining amount of wood that we have left in the laser, let me know. Drop it down in the comments. Let me see what's going on over here in the chat. He's so skinny and he gets... I mean, he's so skinny, and I get paranoid about him finding a place to escape. Well, Terry, I'm going to tell you the truth about it, okay? I have raised many a dog. The most important thing you can do is well train your dog. When to heel, when to come, when to sit. All of those things are crucial. Don't think that those are things they're just going to learn on their own. They're going to learn through osmosis. They're going to learn through watching me here on Amazon and YouTube. It is just not going to happen that way. You're going to have to practice that with them and make sure that you drill that into them at an early age, because you will regret it if you don't. Trust me. I have been through it. I've known a lot of people who have gone through it. And it is something that you could easily avoid by just putting a little bit of effort in on the training side of things. All right, so like I said, we got our laser over here set up. Let me go ahead and open the X-Tool Sweet. So we can get that started. I got to give it a second to load, and then I'm going to drag it over so you guys can kind of see what's going on here. And of course, there is an update that I forgot to do last time, but I'm not going to do it this time either. So, you know, there you go. Somebody send me a message tomorrow or later today reminding me that there is an update for the Xtool M1 Ultra that I need to do. But anyway, for now, let's go over to the desktop and take a look at what we have to work with. All right, so here is the software that we're going to be using. We're just going to go ahead and connect to the laser. We should hear a little chirp. There we go. There's our chirp. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to line out exactly where we're going to be working on that little piece of wood. So I'm going to show you guys all of those steps. It is very, very easy. So let me switch back over to the laser here real quick. There we go. All right, so to measure a certain area out or to map out a certain area that you want to work in, first thing you have to do is you're going to go into the laser software. So I guess I should show you that first. So in our laser software, you're going to go up here and you're going to click on this little icon right here. And oops, that's not the right icon, Rome. We want this icon. There we go. So we want to map out a rectangle. We could do a circle. We could do a polygon. We can do a line. But in this case, we're just going to do a little rectangle. We're going to go ahead and hit start marking. And then from there, what we're going to do, you guys should be able to see it right here. Also with the laser, I'm going to move the laser where I want it to be, which is the first point right about there. I'm going to hit that little button. And then I'm going to move it to the second point. Let's say about right there. Hit that little button. Then we're going to bring it back to the center. We're going to close the lid. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to click here where it says end the marking. And then the final thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to measure the thickness of the wood. There's a little button right here. We're going to go ahead and click on that. And you guys can see the laser is raising. And it came down and touched the material, so it's pretty much ready to go. So that's all we need for that. So now at this point, all we'll have to do is all we have to do now is figure out exactly what we want to create tonight. So if you guys have some ideas, let me know down in the comments. Now the last thing we made was the what was it? The Raven. I think it was the Raven we did last time. So you know, we have a lot of options, guys, when it comes to creating things with these lasers. Of course, if you're into heat presses, you know, it does come with a cutting module, so you can cut vinyl, you can cut a lot of different materials, you can cut regular denim, leather, vinyl, paper, all of that. It comes with the little blades for cutting, so that's pretty cool. Let's see, I think tonight we shall create a lion. Yes, let's go with a lion. Let me find a lion first, and then we will create something. So let me go over to the Googles and find us a really nice image of a lion. And we want this to be, should we do something photorealistic or should we do something more graphical? You guys let me know down in the comments. What do you think? Photorealistic or graphical? I am open to either. So let me know what you guys think. I think, let me see here. Let me see what I find first before I start saying all those things. There we go. Let's take a look. So here's some cool graphics on here. We got quite a few. So we're not going to spend a lot of time on the laser tonight. So I'm just going to find something relatively easy to work with. And let's make our search easier for us. Let's make that a PNG. So we know we have a transparent layer. And let's go with maybe this one. Yeah, I like this one a lot. Let's save this one. And save image. And there we go. All right, our image is saved. So let's go back to our laser software. so I can show you guys what we're going to do next. All right, so in the laser software, we're just going to drag in the graphic that I just found. So let me drag this out of the way and go to my downloads, and let me find our lion. And there it is. Let's drag this guy in. Okay. And there is our lion. That's what we're going to be working with tonight. Well, of course, you know, it's way too big, so we're definitely going to have to make it smaller, that's for sure. All right, so let's shrink it down first. Let's see, how close is that? That's pretty close. Let's get it a little bit smaller. All right, so there's our lion. And let's make sure it's all on there. Okay, so there's our lion that we're going to engrave, and I think we're just going to have to cut it out like a little square, and that way we can make this into like a little coaster or something like that. Let me zoom in on this a little bit better so you guys can kind of see what we're working with. All right, there we go. So there's our lion that we're going to engrave, and then I'm going to go ahead and select it, and I'm also going to do a offset so we can cut it out. So that's pretty close, but I want it a little bit closer than that. Yeah, that's pretty good. Let's go with that. All right, so there's our lion. We have our two layers here. We have our engraving layer, and then we also have our cut layer. All right, so to make this happen, I'm just going to pop back over here. We're going to look at the power settings of each one of these. So on the engraving side of things, this will be determined a lot easier once I choose the material. So let's go ahead and do that. And we've chosen our wood. So it says 25% power. I'm going to bring the power up a little bit to about 50% on the power. The speed is fine. We're going to do one pass on this Jarvis, and we're going to do lines per centimeter at 120. So I'm going to increase those a little bit just so we get a little bit better you know, illustration with the lion, okay? And then on our cut layer, let's go back and take a look at that. So we want that to cut out, and we're gonna click here, and let's see, what is the best power setting? 590, yeah, that's good. So we're gonna do 90% power at a speed of 5, one pass. I think we're gonna do 2 passes just to make sure it goes all the way through with no issues. And we're going to lower it 1 millimeter per pass. So we got all that lined out. All right, so let's just go ahead and frame this guy up. And let me switch back over to the laser so you guys can see what happens when I hit the big silver button over here for it to frame. All right, so you guys see it framed out the work area that we're going to be working in. Okay. So now at this point, Joanna's in the house. Welcome, Joanna. Welcome to the stream. Yeah! All right, so our framing is done. So now all I have to do is hit start. So we're just going to hit the little process button right here, and the laser is going to be off to the races. Boom! And there it goes. It takes a few seconds. I hit start right here. And then I have to press that button again. And there we go, guys. It's starting to engrave. So we'll come back to this in a little bit and see what our lion looks like after it finishes engraving it and cutting everything out. So far, I think this is going to be a relatively easy project. You know, we picked a simple graphic, easy to lay it out, easy to drag it into the software. There was no other photo editing that we had to do. So I think this is going to turn out really well. No worries. All right. So what do we have next? Now, for those who are still interested or are interested in this laser, the bundle is currently $1,199.99. And like I said, it comes with a variety of accessories. It comes with the print module that you see here. It comes with the pin module as well. And of course, it comes, the cut module is inside of the laser. It comes with some pads for cutting vinyl. Where did I put those so I can show them to you guys? Let me grab one of them. So it comes with these little pads that you guys see here that you would be able to like adhere material or, you know, vinyl or whatever it is onto this. and then it's going to cut it out. This just makes it easy for the material to stick, you know, to the surface, and then you'll be able to, you know, create your designs or whatever it's going to be. So real nice, simple design, guys, for working with this laser. Again, great price on it. It's $1,199.99. So definitely check it out. I think it's a definite worthwhile investment. All right. Let me pop back over here also and see what's going on in the chat, making sure I didn't miss anything. All right. I think I missed a couple of things, but it'll start popping up here in a minute. All right. So Joanna says hi. Terry says hi to Joanna. Joanna says nice enclosure. Yeah, I'm dropping dad jokes. I'm dropping dad jokes. So, you know, here's one that I just posted earlier. But you know, they are definitely dad jokes. They are definitely dad jokes. All right, guys. So the next item we have in the carousel is one of my drones, which is the DJI Air 3S. Let me grab this drone real quick. All right, that would be this drone that you see here. Now, the Fly More combo is what I received, and that's what I have listed in the carousel as well. The Fly More combo will consist of the drone itself, the controller, as well as 3 batteries and the charger, okay? So let me get everything out so I can show you guys everything that comes in the bundle. So you get the controller. This is our controller. All right. We also get, you also receive the charging case as well as 3 of these batteries. Now these batteries will give you about 35-40 minutes of flight time. I have one charging right here, or to be charged right here, and then I also have one inside of the drone itself. Now right now I have the drone just kind of bundled here with the prop protectors on, but I'm just going to pop those off real quick so you guys can see what this drone looks like unfolded. This does not come with it, nor does this camera protector, but it does come with the camera protector, okay? Now, the drone itself is a foldable drone, so it just basically unfolds like so. These 2 bottom legs kind of rotate outward underneath like that. And then this is what you get. That's your drone right here, okay? Now, this has 2 cameras. You have a 24mm camera. You have a 70mm camera. You also have 360 obstacle avoidance. And you have these small little cameras that you guys can probably see right here. That's where it sees everything that's around it, including sensors underneath and a landing light. Now, this drone also has LiDAR. That is that black area that you see right here in the front. And what the LiDAR does is it sends out like a pulse, and it can detect things up to 1 candlelight. So in very low light, this drone would still be able to see whatever, you know, is in front of it, which is really handy, especially if you're doing night flights or anything like that. So the obstacle avoidance is probably one of the best features I would say this drone has to offer. But, you know, I'm kind of biased. I've been flying this drone for about 6 months now, and I've been using it for recreational as well as commercial work. This has become one of my favorite drones out of all the drones that I've had over the years. This is definitely one of my favorite drones. All right, let's see what we got going on down here in the chat. Has someone? Oh, wait. I need someone to mug me some coffee. Yeah, me too. I had my 1 cup of coffee earlier today, and that's all I've had for today. But anyway, that's our little drone. Of course, you can add other accessories to it. You guys have probably seen me do a few videos on like the top light you can mount to it, the deploy mechanism that you can use for picking up and dropping things off, you know, comes in really handy. It also has like some little legs you can put underneath it so it won't land in the dirt or the sand. So a lot of different things you can add to this drone. All right, so let's take a quick look at what our laser is doing, because I see it starting to cut out. So let's go back over to our desktop and let me, oops, I forgot to go back to the laser software. All right. Doo-doo-doom, doo-doo-doom. And let me switch back over to the laser so you guys can see what's going on. So it is starting to cut out. Actually, let me switch back to this camera angle. It'll be a lot better for you guys. So it is starting to cut, as you guys can see. So it's going to cut out the lion that we're working on right now. I think we're probably on our second pass because it says we only have 46 seconds left. So this should be done pretty quick. All right, let me just fold this drone up while I'm waiting for that to happen. All right, so let me put my protective camera protection back on here. And yes, I am that guy. I always put this back on the drone to protect the lenses, to protect the cameras. That just pops on kind of like that. And then I also put back on the prop protectors. Now this does come with some spare props, but you know, you want to prolong the ones that you have on here as long as possible. So what this does is, you know, provide you a little bit of protection so that these don't get damaged when you're sticking them into a bag or something like that. So that's how you store that. All right, so let's grab controller and everything and put it back where it comes from. Back here on that junky back desk. All right, so let's go over to the laser and see what we have. This fan should turn off here in just a second. It's just trying to evacuate some of the smoke from inside of the enclosure. Now, I do have an air purifier connected to this guy as well. So let me show you guys what that looks like. Now, I didn't have the air purifier on at the moment, but there is an air purifier down here underneath the laser. And there's our laser. You guys can kind of see around here in the back where the hoses are going in. So this has a really sophisticated system, guys, built into this laser. So if this is something that you guys have been thinking about, I think this will be an excellent product for you guys to definitely take a look at, especially for my crafters out there. Yeah, it's a win. All right, so let's open this up. Let's see what we got. Go ahead and pop this out. Move the wood over to the side. All right. There we go. There's our little lion. All right, let's close this. And let's go over to our top-down view here real quick. All right, so here we go, guys. You can see now, here's the lion. There's the wood that we cut it out of. And this is what it looks like. You guys can see that. I think that came out really, really nice, man. Now, normally with this type of wood, I'd usually hit this with a little clear coat, you know, just to make it pop a little bit. There's a little bit of soot on the edges from where it cut, and I think that was from me doing 2 passes instead of 1, but you guys get an idea of what this looked like. So I think this turned out really nice. Let me know down in the comments what you guys think. I think the X-Tool M1 Ultra is an amazing, amazing piece of kit. So let me know what you guys think about this so far. Let me see here. What is Joanna saying? Yep. You're on point. You're on point. All right, so let me finish and hit complete. And we can close our app here. So we don't really need this right now. But anyway, that's the lion that we just completed. And you guys see how fast it was, you know, for this project to happen. So, you know, yeah, we can definitely do a lot with these lasers, guys. I mean, so if you guys are looking for something creative, definitely take a look at these lasers. I think you'll be really, really impressed with a lot of the projects that you're going to be able to create. Now, also, if you're into drones, you know, my the drone that I just showed you guys, my DJI Air 3S, I think is an amazing piece of kit. I have been flying that drone. It is so user-friendly. Even if you have no drone, you know, skills whatsoever, at least don't think that you do, I'm telling you guys, you're going to be so impressed with how fast you can learn how to use the drone, fly the drone. And if I didn't mention, the controller now has a simulator that allows you to fly and it gives you the feeling of flying the drone in certain environments. I forgot to connect or create a scene for the simulator, but I will do that tomorrow, so that way whenever I want to talk about the controller, I can just plug the controller into my hub over here, and then I can fly the drone for you guys, like we did before, demonstrating the simulator. All right, so let's keep rolling. So know a few of you are thinking about live streaming, thinking about content creation, and I highly, highly recommend it. I've been, nudging, pushing Terry every single day, telling her that, the life and, the day in the life of her and Buddy would probably be something interesting that people would definitely want to watch. I'm still telling you, Terry, create, some social media out there, and people will watch. I will watch. I know I will watch. I know probably Joanna will watch, and Hope will watch, and Richard will watch, and Renee and others, and just the whole gang will be over there just watching whatever's going on with you and Buddy. So just saying. But anyway, we're going to go through some of the tech that I use as a professional photographer. Now, some of that might be, within your budget. Some of it maybe not so, but I still have some budget items as well, which we'll just start off with the higher end items, and we'll kind of work our way through the budget items. Let me take off my headphones real quick because I need to rotate around and grab this camera back here because it's got a little bit of weight to it. So let me go ahead and grab it. All right, here we go. Let me grab it. There we go. Whoa, there we go. All right. So this is kind of my running gun rig as I've configured this one recently. So this is the Sony FX30. I have the Sony FX3 as well. This is a 24 millimeter to 70 millimeter lens that's on here. Now the lens obviously does not come with the camera body. Now if you're interested in this camera body, you can get it here on Amazon right now for $23-24.95. That's going to be with the 24 millimeter lens as well as the camera body. So you get all that you need to get started, and that's going to be a great combination for photography as well as video. Now, this is more of a video-centric camera than it is a photo camera. So I'm gonna tell you guys that up front. I have totally different cameras that I use solely for photography, but if I'm shooting video productions or there's gonna be a higher end video requirement for it, this camera here and my FX30 are gonna be the two cameras that I would lean on the most, okay? Now, turning this guy on real simple, just pop it on like that. You guys see how fast this camera comes on, and you need that when you're doing a production because people will just pop out and start doing things. You'd be like, wait a minute, I didn't have time to turn the camera on. Man, I'm telling you, when you're getting paid on a job, you ain't got no time for that. You just got to be able to set it up super fast and get out there. Now, I am using the Osbot Talent here as a monitor and also as a streaming device. I would normally not use this as a recorder. I would use my Ninja V because the Ninja V can record in 4K up to 60 frames a second. This camera can do 4K up to 120 frames a second. Somewhere, you'll find a happy balance, but a lot of times what we're shooting is gonna be 4K, 24 frames a second, 30 frames a second, 60 frames a second if you're going to be doing a little bit of slow motion. But what's nice about this rig, as you see it right here, with the camera connected to it, I can still run this like a live stream like I'm doing here. I can have my multiple scenes set up. I can scroll through. I can have a starting page or whatever the case it is for the client or for myself. And then I can easily switch back over to this main camera and then be able to zoom in for them, zoom out, whatever it is they need me to do, Now, the cool thing about this rig is I also have this top handle on here. This is a Sony product as well. The shotgun microphone does not come with it. You can buy that additional. But what's great about having it with the shotgun microphone and the top handle, you can actually add a second XLR microphone, like another microphone like this or another shotgun microphone, and have somebody with that on a boom arm, so that they're over the talent. So, and you can also add a wireless rig to this as well. So that means you could have like a wireless microphone, and that way you could have microphones on your talent, for backup audio in case, you know, the shotgun microphone didn't pick it up, or the boom microphone didn't pick it up, or the on-desk microphones didn't, you know, there was some audio problem. You have multiple ways of recording audio, and you want to have multiple video sources as well. So you want to be recording to this device, recording to this camera, and probably outputting to another device at the same time. So just depending on what you guys are looking for, you know, like I said, this could be an excellent, you know, cinema camera for you, commercial camera, DIY camera, whatever the case it is. I use these cameras all the time in my professional work, and I am just a huge fan of this setup. All right, let me put this guy down here for a second, and let me grab the iPhone here, and let me show you what we're kind of working with. All right, so this is what the setup would normally look like, okay? So if I was, you know, setting this up on a big tripod or on a desk, this is how I'd be able to see it. So I can see, you know, here what the camera sees. Up here, I can see whichever scene we're live streaming or outputting. So a really nice, simple setup. So if you're curious what this device is right here, I actually have this listed in the carousel as well. Give me a second, guys. I'm gonna come back to the chat. But this is an HDMI transmitter, and it comes in a set. You actually get a transmitter and a receiver. So in this case, I have the receiver connected to the Osbot Talent, and then I have the transmitter on whatever other device I'd want to connect it to. That could be a computer, a tablet, another camera. It could be any number of things that I want to wireless connect to this rig so that we can have that in the live stream. Now, normally that would be something like a computer because they want to show a screen or something like that during the live stream. That's the reason why you would want something like this. Now, the HDMI transmitter kit is $88.99, and you get the transmitter and the receiver. Both of them will require some type of power, so you will have to plug them into an external battery. Now, as far as the one here, I can actually just plug this into the camera because I have the you know, the USB-A cable right here, and I can plug this directly into the camera, and it can actually get its power from the camera or from another device, or when I have this thing completely rigged out and I have like a you know, a higher end battery on it or something like that, I can plug it into one of those, and all of the cameras and everything, monitors, everything can be powered off of that one camera. So yeah, definitely check it out. If this is something that you guys might be interested in, if you are planning on live streaming, content creation. You know, I know a lot of you guys have been watching us here on Amazon and YouTube and Facebook and all the other social medias. And I know, you know, from talking with a few of you, you are very interested in live streaming and content creation. So as I said, I want to show you guys some of the higher end equipment that I work with. And this is not my highest end equipment, just so we're clear on that. But this is something that I would use more on a mid-tier level client project, not like a, you know, a high-end documentary, or if we were doing a short film or something like that. Yeah, I could probably use that on a short film. Yeah, I could. But, you know, normally I would go with my bigger cinema cameras, you know, like my higher end Sonys. But this is something I would easily carry with me in a backpack, and I could still bring a drone, and I could bring gimbals and all that kind of stuff, and I'm not gonna break my back because I got my little wagon. Don't know if I will just what is Hey Joe saying here. I don't know if it's just my connection, but you keep freezing. I don't know why, because I'm looking at it also in real time on Amazon, and I don't see it freezing. But I will tell you this. I have noticed this recently on a bunch of other people's streams. If you swipe away and you come back, it'll be frozen, and you'll have to refresh it in order for it to catch up. I've noticed that earlier this week. It's been going on quite a few streams, so maybe that's what you're experiencing as well right now. All right, so I have some Osbot cameras that we're going to take a look at as well. Now, the bundle that I just highlighted in the carousel actually comes with the Osbot Talent that you guys see here, which is this monitor, this 4-in-1 monitor, which is a encoder, a recorder, live streaming deck, as well as, yeah, it has a lot of features, a ton of features built into that. But the camera bundle that comes with it, or that you can get, okay, anyway, let me grab the camera and show you guys. So this camera right here is also from Ozbot. So this is the Ozbot Tail 2. Okay, now this is a 4K camera. This is a PTZ-R camera. Now, most of you guys are familiar with me talking about, you know, PTZ cameras, you know, these little cameras like this, or their Ozbot Tail Airs, which are also PTZ cameras. Where these two cameras differ, this camera here has a hidden feature. The PTZ camera is a pan, tilt, zoom, and that's pretty much its limitation. This one is also a PTZ camera, but the R means that it can rotate internally, so you will not have to turn this sideways, and it can also auto level itself. So if your tripod was a little cockeyed or a little crooked or whatever it is, it'll still keep the image, upright, especially if you're doing 16:9. And then if you wanted to do 9:16, like your TikTok or your Instagram, with this camera here, we'd have to turn this camera sideways and mount it this way to get, 4K 60 or 4K 24, whatever it is. But we want that full 4K out of it. With this camera, all you have to do is log into it with your smartphone app. You can use your tablet or whatever, and you can rotate the internal mechanism of the camera, which will then switch it to 9:16. Now, another cool thing about this camera versus the others is the way that you can connect to the cameras, okay? So with this Ozbot Tail Air that you guys see here, you do have a micro HDMI right here. You can put an SD card inside of it. You have your USB-C connector right here, and you also have a 3.5 for like a wired or wireless microphone. And this one does have built-in microphones, which is really nice. But of course, I personally would not use the microphones on any of these cameras. I would rely on something kind of like this, just to maintain that fidelity that you really want out of your microphones. Okay, now this camera, one, does not have internal microphones, because I think the thought process was that they really expected anybody using this camera to be using a higher end microphone or shotgun microphone, desktop microphone, something like that, wireless microphones, whatever the case it might be. So simply enough, it's real easy. All you have to do, you have a lot more connection points on the back of this, as you guys can see here, right? So on this side, we have our line in, our mic in, we have our full size HDMI, we have our RS-232s. That's going to be those two little inputs right here. So if you have like one of the PTZ controllers like you normally see in a conference or at a concert or at a church, when they're moving the cameras around, that's all over the church. That's how they connect to the cameras. You also have SDI, which is very professional connection. That's the cable that plugs in and locks in place. That is an excellent addition to this camera. And you also have your Ethernet right here in the camera, where the other cameras do not have that. You'd have to rely on something like the Talent or another device, to get Ethernet into this. And then on this side here, we have USB-C for charging, and we also have USB-C for UVG for connecting this to like a computer or a tablet or whatever it is. Now, another thing that's cool about these cameras, both of them have this ability. You can connect these wirelessly, okay? So you can connect this using NDI, SRT, or you can connect them with cable using HDMI or either USB, whichever the case it would be. But the advantage to being able to connect them wirelessly is a win, because if you have a rig like this set up and then you want to be able to add an additional camera to it, so let's go ahead and turn this guy on real quick so I can show you kind of what I mean. So we're going to switch this on now. I'm going to point this camera over at the laser, so we'll have something different for it to look at. All right, so let's point this toward the laser. Let me go ahead and open the laser up so the light comes on. All right, so now that camera is now pointed toward the laser, okay? So I'm going to set this one up kind of so you guys can see what's going on here. Let me go ahead and switch back over to our camera view. All right, let me adjust this camera a little bit. All right, so you can kind of see here how this rig is set up, right? Let me get the glare off of the monitor. All right, so I can tap here on the screen. I can switch through to modes like I mentioned before. I can go back to exactly what the camera is seeing, and I can also switch over to our wireless camera that's over there, okay? Now, this unit also comes with a remote, and what the remote's gonna allow you to do is to be able to control it just with the remote. So this is the remote that comes with the bundle, and this can control up to 3 cameras, each camera having 3 presets. You have your human tracking, pet tracking, you have a laser pointer on here. Let me switch this on. You have a joystick as well that you can use for, you know, controlling different things. You have your photo button, your video button, and you have a power button for turning the cameras on and off. And then you have a tele rocker here on the side for like zooming in and zooming out, which is super cool. So as you guys can see the screen right there, so I can, let me switch this. Is it on? Yeah, there we go. Okay. So let me tilt the camera down. I can tilt the camera up. I can pan it to the left. I can pan it to the right. So from here, I'm just kind of looking at my monitor, and then I want to zoom in on that laser. I can zoom in. I can bring the camera around. Whoops, wrong way. Bring the camera around a little bit. Maybe I wanted to look and show you guys the actual laser inside. I can tilt that up a little bit, and boom, just like that, I'm zooming in. So you kind of get the idea of how flexible a rig like this would be, okay? So when you think about it, guys, you know, a lot of the things that I'm showing you guys are things that you can take with you on location, things you can use to set up your own home studios. These are potential things that you could turn into a side hustle. Maybe you're doing these, you know, for another client or whatever. I actually do that, you know, for people who are just getting started that want to do podcasts, live streams, all of that kind of stuff. So, you know, everything that you look at here, you know, you could think about it from the perspective that I would be able to make money off of this. If nothing else, I'll be able to use this for my business. I'll be able to use this for my church, my school, my organizations, whatever the case it may be. I mean, just so many cool things you could do, because you guys can see right here, here's the other camera that is pointing inside of the laser. And then if we switch back over here, you guys can kind of see it over there, but let's get a little bit closer. You can see how I have everything set up. And if this was sitting on a like a bigger tripod and I was operating it from here, I could have multiple wireless cameras set up around, and I could easily switch in between any of those cameras literally by just tapping on the screen like so, and zooming in, zooming out, whatever it is the case the client would need. You know, that's just one of the simplest ways I can describe to you as to how you could use something like this. So if you guys have seen or used anything like this in the past, let me know down in the comments. I am very interested. All right, let me see if I can catch up on Terry says not freezing on her end. Terry, I'm watching it here in real time also on one of my other monitors, and I don't see any freezing yet. But like I said, I have seen the freezing happen on other people's streams, and I've seen it on my own stream when I, you know, go to another page or something, and by the time I get back, I'll be frozen for a second, and I just have to refresh the page, and then it'll come back. So, you know, there you go. But anyway, that bundle from Ozbot, the Ozbot Tail 2 with the Ozbot Talent is currently $2258.15. That's the cost for it. Now, I mentioned some budget options, so let's talk about a few of those. You guys probably saw me pick up this little camera here. Now, these are 2 cameras that are also from Ozbot. This one right here is the Ozbot Tiny 2 Lite. This is the 4K version. The way you can tell, it has a little red ring around the lens. And this is the Ozbot Tiny SE. So this is the 1080p version. So you have the 4K version and the 1080p version, okay? So you got 2 different options. Now, I think if you're going to make the investment, you know, future-proof yourself by getting the one that is going to give you the most flexibility over time. This is also a PTZ camera. That means it can pan, tilt, and zoom, just like the camera that's facing me right now. So I put it in tracking mode. Now, as I move around, the camera's gonna follow me pretty much wherever I go. And that's exactly what one of these cameras will do as well for you. And what's cool about these is that these have little built-in stands that you'll be able to use. You'll be able to use these little stands to easily clip this onto like a monitor. It also has a 1/4-20 underneath here. That means you could mount this on a tripod, a light stand, or a monopod, or wherever it is, or you have like a magic arm, you can mount this onto that as well. There is a remote control for this guy as well. So it just really depends on, you know, exactly what it is that you have in mind, what it is that you're trying to capture, or you're trying to share with the world, whatever the case it will be. As you guys know, I talked about these a lot during Father's Day, Mother's Day, all of those holidays. A lot of our family and friends have those unique personalities, and I think if we encourage them to, you know, record that and share that, you would be amazed at the popularity and how many people will come. Again, Terry, you know, a day in the life of Terry and Buddy. I got to come up with a better name for their show, but you guys get what I'm talking about. But anyway, yeah, this is a cool little camera here. You can get it here on Amazon for as little as $159. This is a 4K variant. It can do up to 60 frames a second. Of course, you have your tracking modes. You know, it's going to do the tracking that we mentioned. If you get the remote, you can do presets with it as well, just like what I showed you guys with the other remote, which is a super cool little camera. Now, if you want something even smaller and even more compact, Jennifer Lude is in the house. Yeah! Welcome, Jennifer Lude. Welcome to the stream. You're getting that Samuel L. Jackson vibe. All right. I'll roll with that for tonight. Now, this one right here is another Ozbot camera. Check it out. This is the Ozbot Meet 2. Okay, so now this one is just a small little cube camera. It does come with a little magnetic stand. This magnetic stand does basically the same thing. If you look at it, you can actually clip this onto a monitor. You can also, you know, angle, you know, the camera however you need to. And this all connects with magnets like so. Now, both of the cameras that we looked at, the smaller cameras, they do not take any SD cards. You're just going to plug your USB cable right into this. You're going to plug this into your Mac, your PC, whatever the case is going to be, and they just work, okay? Now, the PTZ cameras have the ability to track and zoom and all that kind of stuff. This doesn't technically qualify as a PTZ camera, but it does have some AI framing features that will try to keep you in the center of the frame as you're moving around. It'll try to keep you, you know, framed, and that comes in really handy. And there are some other AI features that you can activate using their software on your Mac or PC, and also with their smartphone app, but mostly with the Mac or PC. But yeah, this is a cool little camera here. And this guy is also 4K. Same, you know, features, you know, 4K, 60, all the other stuff we talked about. Now, this right here is only $109, guys. Now, I have the Meet 2 right here, but I also have the original Meet camera. Let me show you guys. This is the original Meet camera that I use right now as my top-down camera, okay? I received this camera probably about, I don't know, 3 years ago, almost 3 years ago, and I'm still using this camera to this day. Now, this is obviously a better camera. This has a better processor, has a better lens, all of that kind of jazz. But honestly, I'm so confident and comfortable with this camera, I've just never had any reason to swap it out. You know, it just works. It just works wonderfully, you know. So it really just depends on, again, your setup, what you're going to be using the cameras for. So, you know, definitely check this guy out. I think this is a great investment. This is also something that, you know, is going to grow with you. It has a 1/4-20 also on the camera body, which makes it really easy to mount this onto a magic arm or a tripod or something like that. And of course, you know, one of these magnetic mounts is another option. Jennifer Lude, what have you been up to? What has been popping in your world? Because, you know, I ain't seen you in a hot minute. I was up early today, I think it was, and I was working on the new layout for the live stream, and I was kind of checking out what everybody else was doing already here live early in the morning on Amazon. I think it was about 9 or 10 o'clock this morning. And I think I saw you in somebody's stream. I can't remember who it was, but yeah, I saw you in somebody's stream early this morning. I was like, oh, there's Jennifer Lute. And then I had to reboot my computer because I was doing some updates. So, you know, there you go. All right, we do have some Govee lights that we'll be taking a look at here in the stream here in just a second. But let's take a look at our next item. Now, this next item is also another very budget item. Ooh, I almost swiped away the stream, y'all. I almost closed the stream on my phone. Okay. All right, let me get it. All right, so this little guy right here is also a video switcher. Okay, so this is a video switcher. Now, it has some similarities to the Talent, to the YOLO boxes and all that jazz, as far as the amount of things you can connect to it. So I'm gonna take this down to the desk here real quick and show you what you can actually do with this. All right, so let's get down here real quick. All right, so this is what it looks like from the top. This is what it looks like from the front, as you see here. So from the top, you have a little video screen right here. You have two main buttons. You have your menu button and you have your shortcut button. You have this little kind of joy rocker here for zooming in and all that kind of jazz. You have two buttons here for switching between your different scenes, so up to 4 scenes. You have a joystick controller here for PTZ cameras. You have a T-bar here as well for transitioning between scenes. So you have 3 different ways you can transition between a scene. You can do a touch screen, you can press one of these buttons, or you can press one of these buttons and then transition to the next scene that you want to go to. Okay. Now this will take up to 8 full-size HDMI inputs. Okay. Now this is not going to work with any of your webcams. This is going to require cameras that have HDMI out. Okay, you can power this guy with USB-C, and right here you have your multi-view. So what the multi-view is, plugging this into a monitor will show you all of your different camera angles and whatever other assets you have connected to this. And then on this side here, you have your preview, where it will, if you have 2 monitors, is how you would normally set this up. And then on this monitor, you would see your preview, exactly what you're going to be sending out to the web. Now, if you want to record to this device, it does not have any internal memory like the Osbot Talent does, or the YOLO boxes and things like that. So you have to record to a device. So you could just install like a thumb drive here, or connect it to like an SD drive here. You also have your, that would be here. This is your webcam connection. So this one you would use to connect this to a Mac or PC if you wanted to, for instance, live stream through OBS or one of those apps through this. You have Ethernet here. You have line in, mic in, your headphone jacks, all of that right here as well. This is very compact. It is all plastic. On this side here, you can see we have a 1/4-20. So if you wanted to mount this on a tripod or stand or something, you could. It's very lightweight. It does not feel cheap or flimsy in any kind of way. It is a really nice design, especially if you're going to just be connecting this to a couple of monitors, maybe in a home studio or on location or something like that. This could be an excellent little device. Now, right now, this is only $295, guys. For a video switcher, that is an amazing price. Okay, you got 4 HDMI inputs, you have your program out, you have your multi-view out, you have the ability to record through this device. You can connect Ethernet for fast Wi-Fi or internet connections. You can plug in your headphones, you can plug in your microphones, all of that into this guy. And it has its own built-in transitions, and some other features are built into this. And there is a web portal for this as well that allows you to, configure things. And you can also live stream through this device to up to 4 different destinations using their web protocol to get everything set up. And then you just be able to, click on your go live, and you determine which of the platforms you want to go live on. So, that's pretty cool. But yeah, this is an amazing little device, guys. So if you guys got any questions about this, I think this would be a very nice budget device for a school or church or small business, community services, you know, anybody that's trying to, you know, do like a video podcast with multiple guests, multiple camera angles. You know, if you're using a higher end style camera, this could be a win for you. So definitely check this out. All right. So yeah, real nice setup, guys. All right, so let me turn some of this stuff off because you guys know I have a bad habit of not powering off my gear and running the batteries down, and then I forget to turn them off. Where's that remote? Let me turn off the remote as well. Okay, so that's off. All right, so what do we have next? So I got something in this week that I think would be an excellent gift for an elderly person or for a child. Okay, now I'll show you why I say that. So this technically is an MP4, MP3 player. Okay, it looks like a phone. It has a lot of Android-like features, but it's technically not a phone. Okay. So let me show you guys what comes in the box. Let's pop down here to the desk real quick. All right. So in the box, now this is, let me highlight it real quick here. This is only $69.99 for this little bundle. All right. So you're going to get your USB-C to USB-A cable for charging. You're going to get a headphone jack, and this does use 3.5, you know, to connect it to it. It comes with this little case, little silicone case. It comes with a screen protector, and this is the device right here. So this is what it looks like, okay? Now, if I compare this, where's one of my phones? Is one of my phones here somewhere? Let me grab this phone. So if I compare it to a phone, yes, it's much smaller than this iPhone. This is a 14 Pro Max right here, okay? So this is smaller than even the smallest of iPhones or the smallest of Android phones. But, you know, I just wanted to give you something to compare it to, okay? So this does have an all metal frame all the way around it. Now the front and the back is plastic. You only have 3 buttons. Technically, you have the volume rocker right here and a power button here on the side, and then you have another little button right here. Now, underneath it, you have your USB-C here for charging. You have your SD card slot right here, and your 3.5 for your headphone jacks or speaker or something like that. So let's go ahead and power this guy on real quick so I can show you guys what it looks like. Now, one of the things that I did like about this, Terry says the heat has been deadly. Yeah, I'm in Texas, Terry, so I'm in Texas, so trust me, I can relate to the heat, sis. I can relate to the heat, okay? All right, so anyway, this is how it first starts up. It's got this really cool little vintage black and white thing that goes on, and then once it's completely ready to go, you're just going to swipe up just the way you would on any other phone. Of course, you could probably set a password or something, but I never did. But anyway, you just swipe up like this, and this is going to take you into the main screen. Takes a few seconds for everything to load up. You'll see here in a second. All right, so right here at the bottom, you guys can see we have our music player, a video player, and we have our settings, and that's going to be on your little main icons right here. And then you're going to have all of your other icons that'll be up and above it, right? So if you swipe up from here, you can open up apps and anything that's already open, or you can close everything just like a normal Android device. You can swipe to the side. Now, applications that are already on here, you have YouTube, Spotify, TikTok, you have YouTube for kids. So you can put a lot of apps on here. It even has the Android App Store on here that you can also, you know, put in here. You can change your background wallpaper. There's no camera for this one, so it doesn't take photos or anything like that. But like I said, this is more for entertainment purposes. So this will be great for listening to music. This will be great for watching YouTube videos or videos that you have saved onto the device. So I think this would be a cool little device, you know, for a kid or maybe an elderly family member, you know, that doesn't want to use their phone for whatever reason it would be. This could be pretty cool. Now, it is kind of small, so maybe I have to rethink the elderly part of it. But you know, for what you're paying for it, I think this is a really, really nice little device. And it's only $69.99. You know, very well built. I can honestly say this feels really good in the hands. You know, it doesn't feel, you know, cheap or plasticky or anything like that. I mean, it feels like a high grade device, guys. I mean, you can really feel the metal in the frame. So, you know, if you're interested in something like that, under $100, I think this would be good. Definitely take a look at it. This is probably going to wind up in my gifting box because I know personally I will probably never use this. So I would want this to go to someone that would use it or would give it to someone that would really use it. So, you know, let me know what y'all think about it so far. I think it's pretty cool. You know, it comes in a really nice little box. It comes with all the different accessories that you're going to want, and it's not going to break the bank. It's only $69.99. I think that's a great price for what you get here. And out of all the things I forgot to turn off, I forgot to turn off this other camera. All right, I got it. So if you guys didn't see earlier, we made this little lion tonight out of some 3mm wood using the X-Tool Ultra laser. So there's a little lion that we made tonight. Came out pretty cool. I think so. All right, what do we have next? So our next item is going to lean more into audio, okay? So some of the audio gear that I use a variety of different microphones. This microphone right here is the microphone that I use primarily for like live streams, voiceovers, Zoom calls, whatever, you know.
Y'all already know, okay? I got way too many microphones and cameras and lights in this room, okay? I got a ton, okay? But, you know, you can never have too many. You can never have too many.
Especially when you're trying to preserve the bass in your voice, okay? Now, I know right now I probably sound just like Jennifer Lude, okay, when she has a cold. Jennifer like, hello? What? No, I can't come to work today. What do you mean? Don't you hear my voice?
But anyway, there are other options other than these higher end microphones like the Rode Procaster and Shure microphones and all the other microphones that I have laying all over the place here. These microphones right here are from Anchor Work. Now, these were sent to me by Adam about 2 years ago, and I have been using these for a very, very long time. These are the Anchor Works M650 wireless microphones, guys. Now, what's cool about these microphones is that you get two omnidirectional microphones. You get a receiver. The receiver has a removable adapter here for either USB-C or for Lightning. Okay, so you have a Lightning adapter. If you have an older iPhone device, you have a Lightning adapter as well, and those just connect right here on the back. Of course, you have your 3.5, so you could plug this into, you know, a camera or whatever it is you want to mount it. It has a nice touch screen here on the front. It's going to show you both microphones, their gain levels. You can go in and also, you know, turn on your noise reduction and all that kind of stuff right here from the receiver in real time. And they all charge in this one little case, okay? Now, the microphones themselves have some cool features. They have internal recording. You also have these rare earth magnet clips that you can take off and put this maybe inside of your shirt. That's how I normally do it. I put this part inside of my shirt, and then I just connect the microphone to myself like that. And then I use the built-in microphone. But if you don't want this, hanging on the outside of your shirt, you could always use a standard lavalier mic and just plug it right in here to this 3.5 that you guys see right there. Okay. But like I said, internal recording with these guys as well. That comes in really handy as the backup audio, like I was talking about before with my other camera rig. Being able to back up your audio is a win. Now, this kit right now is only $179. This charging case charges the microphones and the receiver. You guys probably just saw the little lights turn on right here. And literally, you can also connect this to your computer when you need to offload the audio from this device. You can literally just connect this to your Mac or PC, and you'll have access to the audio files that are recorded onto these microphones if for some reason you need that higher end audio. The only thing these don't do that I would want microphones like this to be able to do is 32-bit float. These don't have 32-bit float, where some of my newer microphones do, like the wireless Bluetooth mic that I have here on my Pocket 3 does have 32-bit float. But if you don't know what 32-bit float is, you most likely do not need 32-bit float if you have no idea what I'm talking about. So don't worry about it. It is not a deal breaker that this does not have 32-bit float, because these are the microphones that I use almost every single day to record my videos that I was, shoppable videos, instructional videos, anything I was putting out on social media. These were the microphones I was using, not this microphone. Okay, just so we're clear, I may sound like I'm using this microphone when you guys hear and see the videos, but I'm not using this microphone. I was using these. Okay, all right. So Jennifer, I got something that might interest you. This might tickle your pickle. This is from Blue Yeti. This is the Blue Yeti Hands-Free 1. Now, there's also a Blue Yeti's Hands-Free 2. This is a backpack that has a built-in battery. Now, I've taken the battery out because I wanted to show everybody the battery, but it fits into this little slot right here. It just goes in from the top of the backpack right there. And this backpack is the one that I use a lot for my drones and cameras and stuff like that on, like, local commercial jobs. I have a space inside here. I have a space inside here just for my drones. So I have this little pull foam material inside where I can put the drone, the controller, the batteries and everything right in there. And this backpack also has enough storage, guys. If you're going to be gone overnight or something, you have enough internal storage here that you can put some clothes in here. I have my drone pilot vest in here. I have my landing pad in here, and I got some pockets in here. I also have the cables for the battery so I could charge this out on location if I needed to, the battery itself. I'm gonna show you guys the battery here in a second, but this comes with the battery. And I was saying for like the last 2 or 3 months, I was saying to myself, you know what they need to sell the battery separately, because some people will probably just want the battery that don't really need the backpack. I don't know why you wouldn't want the backpack, because this is an amazing backpack. But if that's you, somebody was listening. I don't know if they were watching my stream or somebody else, came up with the same idea. But this is, what do I do with the battery? Oh, here it is. So here is the battery right here, okay? So you guys can see how slim and trim this battery is. You got AC and DC power. It uses that same 3-prong cable that most Blue Yeti batteries use to charge it up. Now, this is only a 300-watt battery, but it's got a nice little handle here on the top. Same as all the rest. You have your display on front. Let me go ahead and highlight the battery by itself. So you have AC and DC power. You have your USB-Cs. You have 2 of them right here. USB-As, you have 2 of those right here. And you can also charge this guy off of a solar panel, okay? Really nice venting all the way around the battery, so it's going to stay cool. And this fits right inside of the backpack. So this just goes right in the backpack, just like that. Just let it slide on in. I probably got it caught on something. All right, there we go. So that just goes in just like that. And now you have access to your battery inside of the backpack. So that means you could be hiking or whatever you're doing and charging your stuff at the same time, okay? This right here, my headphones caught on it. This right here, guys, is a very practical application. I have tried for the longest time to fit one of these standard rectangle style batteries into a backpack. I got almost lucky, almost getting one to fit, kinda, but it just never felt right. It just never had like a natural flow to it, right? This feels like it was designed from the ground up with somebody like me in mind, you know, that has a lot of tech that they take out with them, that they need to charge up all the time, and you know. But I'll show you guys the other battery. So Blue Yeti also has this battery right here. Let me grab it. Ooh, almost got it. Which is this battery right here, okay? So this little guy is kind of what I was thinking about that would fit inside of a backpack, okay? But again, you see how much thicker this guy is. And sometimes size does matter, but this one actually gives you two 3-prong plugs right here. You have your AC and DC power, of course, just like the others. They got the really nice screen built in, and it also has the 12-volt plug like you find inside of, you know, your car, a cigarette lighter. Of course, this one you can also charge on a solar panel. This one is very budget friendly as well. It is only $138.99. Again, same type of built-in handle, but a difference, this is not going to fit easily into a backpack, okay? So if I had to choose between the two batteries, I would go with the other battery, even though this one has technically a little bit more power, okay? So yeah, this one has a little bit more horsepower, but I would probably still go with the other battery. So, all right, let me move a few things around here on the desk. All right, so I can set this battery comfortably down because we're gonna need this battery in a second. All right, so we have one more battery, and I think I brought it in here, but for some reason I don't see it. I don't know what I did with it. But anyway, I'll just tell you about it real quick. This is another little portable battery. Let me show it to you guys. You know, I don't usually go to the product page, but here's a perfect example of when we need to go over to the product page. So this battery right here is the battery that I'm referring to, okay? So this one is also lightweight. It's a 120 watt battery. It's only $59.99. I currently have this battery somewhere here. I think I know where it's at. I'm gonna actually go over and grab it. But anyway, this battery has your USB-C, USB-A, and it has one AC plug. It has a built-in light. But let me go grab it. I know it's over, oh, it's probably over there on my desk. So let me switch away. So, all right, let me go over and get this battery and I'll be right back. All right, here it is. There it is, right there. Okay, so this guy right here, like I said, is a very portable battery, guys. So this is a 116 watt hours, 31,200 milliamp hours, okay? It has 65 watts USB. You have your AC plug right here. You also have a built-in light. As you guys can see there, it has a built-in light and it has a couple of modes for the lights. So this could be a nice little camping battery. It is metal. It's got little rubberized feet underneath there. And believe it or not, this little battery, this little battery can power quite a few things for it to be such an inexpensive battery. I have the 99 cents. What 99 cents? What are we talking about, Terry? You talking about 99 cents for the battery? For the battery? So somebody needs to chip in the $59. Is that what you're saying? Hey, it's summertime, girl. Okay, I know down here in Texas, we get hurricanes and tornadoes and dinosaur attacks. So having backup power, having backup battery power is a must, okay, is a must have. So, you know, this one right here, now this would fit in a backpack, okay? This would fit in a backpack, and I could probably charge my drone batteries off of, you know, a battery like this. So, you know, that's another option. If I didn't have the Blue Yeti backpack that has the larger battery, this right here would be one of my options. And I have a couple of batteries like this, and I do like this form factor. All right. Okay, let's get to some lights, my babies. Let's get to some lights. All right, so here is a really cool little light right here from Govee, okay? So this is the Govee RGB IC light, and this one does require, you know, to be plugged in. So we're gonna, oops, I'm just kicking stuff. We're gonna plug this guy in right here. Maybe we can put it on the laser. And let's switch back over to this camera angle so you guys can see. All right, so here's the light, here's the battery, okay? So I'm gonna plug it into the battery. Let's go ahead and power the battery on. Just to show you guys that yes, these batteries can power things like these lights. So let's go ahead and turn this guy on. The light should turn on. Wrong plug. There we go. Oh, I forgot to turn this on. Hold on. There we go. All right, so the light should come on. There we go. There's our light. I'm gonna sit it right here on top of this battery. Now, this light right now is only $69.99. Of course, you can use Meta, you can use Google Home, you can use Alexa, or you can use your Govee app. So this is your Govee app right here. Let me find that lamp real quick. You guys see how many Govee things I have here in my phone? It's crazy. All right, so this is the lamp right here. So the lamp is already on. So I can switch over. Let me see if I can lean in here. I can switch over and go through the different effects. So we have our color modes where I can just go in here and I can just switch to solid colors. And I can also increase the sensitivity of the light right here, making it brighter or, you know, less so. You know, any of the colors, green, blue, purple, red, whatever colors I want to choose, or either use a little wheel and drag it around. That's how most people would do it. Now you also have your scenes. If you're familiar with Govee lights at all, it has a ton of scenes, okay? So I can click on this really cool little scene here, or something like this, or, you know, and you got your life scene, so you can pick something, you know, nature-like. We also have festive stuff, so we got Christmas. We have Halloween. We have Valentine's Day. We have St. Patrick's Day. We have Easter. We have a ghost. A ghost. We got a ghost. We also have music. So what's cool about the music thing is that it's going to respond to sound. So as long as I'm talking, let me set it up where it's going to respond to sound. So as long as I'm talking, as you guys can see me talking here, it's going to react to my voice, okay? And hold on for a second. Let me see. Yeah, so it's going to react to my voice as I speak. And then whenever I stop talking, it'll switch. I'm going to switch to a different effect. Same thing here. So this will keep moving as long as there's music or someone is talking. Now, this light does require, you know, power. You have to have it plugged in, but it has a ton of features. This is going to be great as a bedside light. It'll be good as a variety of different reasons you could use this light. I mean, I would have this thing in a different, you know, a lot of different places, including, you know, next to a television or a monitor or something like that. So you got a lot of cool things you can do with this light. Now, but again, this one does require it to be plugged into, you know, wall power. So there you have it. But we have another variant of it that I'm gonna show you guys that has its own built-in battery. And that is the new table lamp 2 Pro from Govee. Let me go grab it. Well, actually, it is. Oh, let me see if I can show it to you guys here real quick. You guys probably see it. It's back there. That's it, right there. That's it. That's all you get. That's all you're gonna get is what you see right there. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I'm gonna show it to you. Hold on. All right, let me grab that. All right, so this lamp, as you guys can see, is much larger, okay? Now, what's different about this one is it actually has an internal battery, okay? So I'm just gonna power this guy on here real quick. As you see, it turns on, no problem, no plug. And like a lot of these lights, you can control the top and the bottom separately. Now, this one here is currently $179.99, but this one also has a built-in JBL speaker built into this one as well, where the other one definitely does not. So it's making sounds. All right, so let me put this one next to it so you guys can see the difference between the two. And let's jump back over here real quick. Let me tilt this camera up. There we go. So you guys can see the difference between the two lamps. Actually, let me move this one a little bit that way, or just put it next to it. There we go. So that's the difference between the two lamps size-wise, okay? Now, of course, they're gonna have a lot of the similar features. So if I go back and I look for that lamp here on my phone. Where is it? Okay, so there it is. Okay, so now this one has all of the same similar features as the other one. I'm just gonna put it into music mode, and then I'm just gonna grab a effect like so, and we're just gonna let this one respond also to my voice. Let's actually go with something a little bit more dynamic. So you guys get the idea. So as long as I'm talking, the light is moving. So this would be the same as if somebody was playing music or whatever it is, or just doing what we do, living our lives, having fun. Maybe you're doing something out in the backyard, you're grilling or something like that. So I think this is an amazing light, guys. Both of them are, but I really like the fact that this other one is battery powered. You can take this guy out on location with you. You have your JBL speakers built into it as well, and it has over 100+ scenes built into this light that you can use for entertainment as well. So yeah, it's a win. It's a win. For $179.99, a rechargeable light that you can have in the backyard, in the garage, in your man cave, your she shed. You can control the different levels of the light, the top or the bottom section separately, which is also very cool. I definitely like it. Let me know what you guys think about either of these lights. Which of the two would you rather have in your household? If you could choose right now, which of the two would you rather have in your household? Now we have some other Govee lights. So let me grab another Govee light here while I'm thinking about it. All right, so here is another light. And let me show you guys this one real quick. So here's another Govee light. Now this is a light strip. This is designed, for running around the wall, the desk, or wherever you want to put it. But this one is also a super cool light. Now this one obviously does not have batteries either. You're going to plug this into wall power. But I'm going to loop it around one of the other lights just so I can show you what it can do. And let's switch back over here real quick. Okay, so here's the light. I have to unplug the, wait, actually, let me get the, where's that other battery? All right, let me grab this other battery. All right, let me turn it on. All right, so this should work off of this battery right here. All right, there we go. You guys can see it is lit up. All right, so let me grab my app here on my phone, and let's go back and find that light. I think it's this one. And this should be a neon rope light. Let's see if we can change. Yep, there we go. So we can change all of these different effects on it. Of course, like I said, if you're setting this up, it's going to be, you know, I would put this on a wall or around a desk, especially if you're a live streamer, gamer, or something like that. Again, we can set this one to music as well, and I can just set a pattern. And now this one also is going to be responding to my voice. So now we have 3 lights all now we have 3 lights all responding to my voice. That's crazy. But, you know, if this was a music, you know, we had some music, I was a DJ or something like that, you know, this would be a pretty cool little scenario. That's all I'm saying. So if you're into any of that kind of stuff, definitely check these guys out. I think, you know, any of these lights is going to be a win. It just depends on what you guys are into. Now, some of my favorite lights, some of my favorite all-time lights are here in the studio. Let me see if I can swing this camera around real quick. Hold on. Let me adjust it. All right, let's go up. Come on, camera, go up. All right, that's those lights that you see right there. Those are the Govee curtain lights. Okay, now those are currently $129.99. If you're interested in these lights as well, these could be a great light for a bedroom, for a game room, for movie night. I have these on all the time for movie night. You get 4.9 by 6 foot of the lights. That's 100 and I'm sorry, it's 520 of the LEDs. This has an IP65 waterproof rating, so these can be outdoors, indoors. So let me just change the pattern of those lights real quick here. Let me go to my curtain lights, and I'm gonna switch to something that you guys can really see, hopefully. Let me go to one of these scenes, and here is some bubbles. You guys can see that. Let me see if I can bring this camera around a little bit more. Move myself out of the way so you guys can see the bubbles. Here are some autumn leaves. Sunset. Waves. Here's a rainbow. Let's go to some of the festive stuff. So here's Christmas stockings. Here comes Santa Claus. Here comes Santa Claus. Here comes Santa. Here's a Christmas tree. Here is a sleigh. Yep. Okay, we got Valentine's. So we got some hearts. Let's go to Easter. We got some Easter eggs, cherry blossoms. What else we got? Oh, pizza. Let's see what pizza does. I'm not sure what that's supposed to be. It says pizza. So I clicked on it. It said pizza. Let's try birthday cake. Okay, so that is supposed to be birthday cake. Okay, that's different. Okay. Here's a witch hat. Yeah. A lot of cool things. Let's do a couple more. Here is a Ferris wheel. That's kind of cool. All right, I like that. Here's an astronaut. Spaceman. Spaceman. It's a spaceman. It's a spaceman. So yeah, all of those guys are super cool, guys. I mean, if that's something that you guys might be into, definitely check these lights out. Okay, so I got all these batteries turned on. So let me go ahead and power some of this stuff off. All right, let's switch these lights off, and also let me unplug this guy. Can I turn that off without unplugging it? Yeah, I did. Okay, and then this one, all I have to do is just press the little button on here, and I should be able to power this one off as well. It's going to blink 2 times, then it turns off. So there we go. All right, so those are a few of the Govee lights that I will also be featuring in my next Govee stream. I have one more to show you guys, and then I have, I think, 1 more or 2 more items. So the other lights that I want to show you guys, hold on. Oh, so many lights. those. I have literally a stack of lights down here, okay? I think, nope, not those either. Oh, shoot. Am I missing a box of lights? Where did the other lights go? Hold on. Ah, there they are. They have fallen. They have fallen. They have fallen behind the other boxes. And that would be these lights right here. Now, these are $99.99. These are your hard clear lights, the clear bulbs. These are string lights. They're 48 feet in length, okay? So this is pretty much what they look like. Let's take it over to the desk. I'll show you guys what these look like. Let me clean up my desk a little bit. All right, so this is what the lights look like. Why? I know this box is open. What is happening here? Come on. All right, there we go. All right. All right, so this is what the bulbs look like. So these are the clear bulbs. Let me see if I can power these on quickly. I think I have to. I don't know if I have access to the plug easily. Hold on, let me see. I might be able to get to it. Did I unplug them? Yeah, I did. Of course I did. Okay, so you need the controller and you need the plug. But I'll do this for you guys. I'll do this for you guys. So let's go ahead and plug them in so I can show you guys what these can do. So first, let me take this little thing off here. And we're going to plug. Wait. Nope. Wait. Is that right? Yeah. Hold on. Which one is it? No, it's this one. Okay. So that goes in there. Why doesn't it want to go in there? I know it goes in like that. Why doesn't it want to go in? There we go. All right, so that goes in there, like so. And then we need to plug this into the actual lights themselves. So let me take all of this out and find our connector. There it is. So here's our connector. We're almost there. Don't give up. We're almost there. Okay, hold on. Why is this being such a pain? Come off, light. It does not want to come off, y'all. It is supposed to come off so easy, but it doesn't want to come off. Why doesn't it want to come off? Am I doing it wrong? Am I doing it wrong? I don't think I'm doing it wrong. Hold on. It's like it's locked on there. It does not want to come off. All right. Let me fight this light real quick. Or I'm going to have to get the other part of the box out. Why does this not? Now, you guys know, as soon as I get off the stream, this would pop right off, right? But it does not want to come off. Okay, you know what? I found another connection on the opposite side. So I'm just going to use that instead. And connect this one to that one. Wait, no. Yeah, that one. All right, I got that. Now connect it. All right, so we got those connected and put these back in the box, kinda. And let's get that same battery. All right, we're gonna use this battery again. And let's go back here. Let's take out this little thing. And let's power this battery up. Plug this guy in like that. All right, so these should turn on If they don't, there we go. All right, so let me grab my phone again and go through and find some cool lighting effects for these lights. All right, let me see. There they are. All right, so we're waiting on these to connect. Let's give it a second. And then I'm going to show you guys really quickly some of the cool lighting effects you can do with this. I don't know why it's not connecting. It does not want to connect to the lights. It's still trying to connect. All right, I'll just wait for it to connect. Do I need to restart this app? All right, let's see if it connects. Oh, wrong lights. Wrong lights. That's why it's not connecting. I clicked on the wrong ones. So it's going to try to connect to the wrong ones, but it's not going to be able to. That's the ones right there that it should be connected to. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Come on, connect. The people are watching, they're waiting. I know there's not any other lights. Why is it not connecting? I have no idea, y'all. I have no idea. Okay, let me just try adding them again. Let me try that. Shoot. Let me try turning them off. Let me try turning them off and then turning them back on. So I have the switch. Okay, so that's off. So let me try to turn them on because I see the Wi-Fi connection shows they're not connected, and that's the issue. I think somehow when I set these up, maybe did I change my password? I don't think so. But for some reason, they're not connecting. I have no idea why they're not connecting, but we're just going to move on if they don't connect this time. We're going to give it a few more seconds. Let's see if it connects. But if it does not, we shall move on. We shall move on. I wonder if I can delete it. Hold on, let me try something. Manage list. And I don't know how to delete it. Okay, let me try to delete it. And that's those. And it won't let me delete it. All right, I'm gonna try this one more time, one more again, because it's on. I mean, the lights are on, and I don't know why they're not connecting. Wait, I think it's telling me why. Hold on. Okay, so delete, yes. Okay, so I think I deleted it. And now we have it back again. So we're going to try to add it. We're going to wait for it to connect. Okay, it tells me to tap the button one time. And it should see it. Yes, it does see it. And connect. All right, let's go back to our top down. And as soon as it connects, it's still connecting to the Wi-Fi. So give it a second. It says it's successfully connected to the Wi-Fi. All right, so now I should be able to adjust the colors. There we go. So we can do blue, we can do red, we can do purple, we can do scenes. So we can do this working scene, reading scene, meditation, lights. Let's go back to our nature. Let's do some of our festive. We have Halloween. We have other Halloween effects. Not a little bright. Let me see if I can bring them down a little bit so you guys can see them a little bit better. So let's move this so you guys can see the different colors. There we go. All right, so we have Christmas. More Christmas. Dashing sleigh. Here's one for Thanksgiving. That's pretty cool. Here's some universal stuff. So we have different planets. So we're going to do Mars, Earth. I did Mercury first. That was Mercury, the first one. Here's Neptune, Saturn. Here's the Milky Way. So yeah, they are some cool lights, guys. These are some really cool lights. Again, another, very good. This, I don't know, my phone was acting up, but really, really nice lights from Govee. So if you guys are looking for some Christmas lights, some permanent outdoor lights, something like that, definitely check these guys out, because other than the little issue that I just had, connecting them to this battery, I still think these are some outstanding lights. So definitely check these out. I think I'm gonna leave these connected to the power supply. You know what? I'm just gonna leave those in the box, and I will put these away tomorrow. Yeah, because we ain't got time for, you guys don't have time to watch me try to put all of those lights back in that box. All right, what do we have? Two more things left. So the last thing in the carousel that is a normal item is going to be something that a lot of you guys might want to get during the summer months. And, for the kids that are coming over, grandkids, nieces, nephews, all that kind of jazz, is going to be your Luna games. It is currently $4.99. And you guys know we played a lot of Luna games last year here on the stream. Yeah, we're going to be doing that again starting this weekend. But the way it's going to work is I'm going to do my normal live stream like I normally do here on Amazon and on YouTube. And then at the end of the stream, I'm going to end the stream here on Amazon, but we're going to keep the party going over on YouTube. And that's where we're going to play games and, do some other stuff. So if you guys are into any of that kind of jazz, make sure you are following. Make sure you ring that notification bell to be notified when I go live next, because that's when you're going to see a lot of those cool things. So the Jackbox games is $4.99. Like I said, it comes with a ton of games. So if you're into that game life, if that's something that would appeal to you, something that will tickle your pickle, man, I'm telling you, it is super cool. A lot of our Jackbox games, you guys can see them right here, that we normally pay all the way from, I think that's Jackbox 1, 2, 3. There's Jackbox. I didn't even know there was a 10. But yeah, we got a Jackbox 10, 7, 5, 4, 8, 9. I'm just jumping numbers all over the place, but y'all get what I'm saying. So normally, I think we used to play Jackbox 3. And that would give us, which games were in there? Let me see real quick here. So we would normally play Jackbox 3, and that would give us a selection of games. And let's click play. Let's see what we got. But there, you have access to all of them. You got access to every one of these games, guys. So Jennifer Lude says, sounds good. Yeah, especially if you got kids coming over and all that kind of jazz. I'm telling you, man, that's gonna be about it. Jackbox games, yes, baby. All right, so what games do we have on this? Let me just click on it real quick. All right, so we have Quiplash. We have Trivia Murder Party. That's Alan's favorite game. We have Guespionage. That's Rome's favorite game. We have Fake It. We have TKO, and this is just the games that are here within this bundle, okay? But like I said, you have the option of playing any of the different bundles that they have, and I'm telling you guys, they have a lot of games in this system, so definitely check it out. All right. Actually, let me close that so I don't leave that running in the background, because I'll walk away and forget about it, and I'll just be running Jackbox games all night. But anyway, yeah, that's about it, guys. That's about it. We got one more item left in the carousel, which is this item right here. These are our drawstring backpacks. Let me go ahead and highlight those. All right, guys, you know that I am a big proponent for doing good in your community, doing good in your neighborhood, doing good, you know, any place you get an opportunity. Now, these drawstring backpacks will be excellent for reusable shopping bags. You can use them for storage bags. You can use them for a variety of different, you know, things. But I love using these bags to gift love to people who are in need, the homeless community, women's shelters, pet shelters. We buy a lot of items right here on Amazon. Toothpaste, toothbrush, deodorant, shampoo, conditioner, hand sanitizer, band-aids, pens, pencils, underwear, socks, t-shirts, anything that we can find that we can stuff into one of those bags, reusable water bottles. And if, you know, we're out driving and living our lives the way we do, and you see somebody out there with a sign asking for help, you can just hand them one of these bags and then get on down the road, guys. Now, the advantage to giving them one of these backpacks is that they can still use it for a lot of other things other than, and of course, they could just store a lot of their stuff inside of it, maybe inside of a larger backpack, or, you know, however they're storing their stuff, guys. You know what I'm saying? But any good we can do to help those people out there is going to be rewarded to you tenfold. All right. So, yeah, that's about it for tonight, guys. It's about time for me to wrap it up for the night, but I'll be back here on Thursday, Friday. I'll be back here on Friday night. Whoa, wait. I got to check my schedule because I am also scheduled to go live on liveStream on the 29th. So, yeah, I'm live on Govee on the 29th. But even on the Govee nights, I'll probably still do a pre-stream. I'll go live for about 30 minutes to an hour, you know, on my channel. And then, you know, we'll all just jump over to Govee right after that, you know. That's what we tried to do the other night. But, you know, OBS was not participating. It just did not want to play right. So I got some new software, and it seems to be working perfectly. And it's doing everything that I needed to do. So I have no complaints, none whatsoever. All right, let me see who is live right now. Looks like Kurt is live. Let me check. Yes, Kurt is live. So let me pop over here real quick. Yep, he's playing games too, y'all. He's playing games. So if y'all don't know who Kurt is, let me show you real quick. Oh, I said Kurt. I meant to say Josh. Ooh, righty then. But anyway, he is playing games over on the stream, guys. So go over and please show him some love. Let him know that, you know, we are here watching. Have a great stream. All right, y'all, go by and show him some love. Go by and show him some love. And let him know that I sent you guys over from my stream, because I'm about to wrap it up. So if y'all want to keep the parties, you know, keep the party going, go by and hang out with my boy. And yeah, maybe he'll play a specific game for you, because he's got a lot of games. I can see him right now. So I'm checking it out. I'm checking it. Jennifer, everybody, go by, check him out. All right, y'all. So it's about that time. It's about that time for me to do that thing. Do that thing. Let's go. My babies, it's time for me to wrap it up for the night. But you know how we do. You know how we do. We try to show some love every opportunity we get. So do what you can. Do what you can. Be a good person. Be a good human. That's the most important thing. All right, y'all, it's time for me to wrap it up and say them magic words. Peace, peace, and blue muffin grease. I am out. My babies, I am out of here. See y'all on Friday night. Peace. Love y'all. I got to go.